Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another Johnny TCG video. I'm Johnny TCG. I'm excited to see you here today. Today we're talking about Red Ace from OP03, a leader I've never covered on the channel before, so if you've been watching for a while, today's your day to finally hear me talk about Red Ace. He's of course an old leader that doesn't see a lot of love nowadays, but I've been having a lot of fun with him, and so maybe you will too. Since this is the first time I ever even tried him, I didn't really cook up a list for myself. I decided to start out with a list made by Cardi Kaizoku. He did a video on this list, and so I'll put the video on screen and in the comments down below. Check it out, it's a great video. I started playing his deck and I really enjoyed it. I wanted to cover it myself because I've had a lot of fun with it, and it's stronger than I expected just because I don't really view Ace's leader ability as that strong, but somehow the deck works to an extent. You know, he's not going to be meta, but you're going to have a good time. I say that in a lot of my videos, but it's true. Even if a deck isn't meta, in my opinion, I always have a great time with it. I try to, at least. In today's video, we're going to do a deck breakdown, taking a look at all the cards in the list. Then we are going to do a giveaway. I've got a custom Ace leader to give away today, so boom, editor, throw it up on screen. Stay tuned for that. And then, of course, we're going to take this deck to the sim, see how it does, and then talk about it afterwards. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're not subscribed yet, consider hitting that subscribe button. Let's get into the deck profile. Porcas Diaz is a 5,000 power mono red leader with the Whitebeard Pirates typing. His ability is really interesting. It's that when this leader attacks or is being attacked, you may trash any number of event cards from your hand and then give this leader plus 1,000 power for this battle. So he's got an ability you can use on the offensive, you can use it on the defensive side of things. It's really interesting. Now the thing is, it's not like game breaking for the most part, at least in my opinion, but it does save your butt in a lot of circumstances. It does change things a little bit, makes your math a little bit easier in certain situations, and for that reason I do think he's pretty strong. There's one card in particular in this deck that I think is just so strong, and that is Flame Emperor. I won't talk about it too much for right now, but just know this card is insane. Starting off the deck list, of course, we've got the classic 2k counter, 1 cost 0 power Otama. On play, give minus 2,000 power to one of your opponent's characters. This is just a good 2k to have, and then also it can come in handy if you're comboing it with maybe a Ben Beckman or a Rayleigh. Either way though, good to have in the deck. I've talked about this card a million times, not much for me to say about it. Next up, we have the Sanji from OP01. This is the 2 cost, 3,000 power Sanji with 2k counter. Mostly used as a 2k counter, but he can be used as an offensive threat if you play him down. He's got the ability of activate main once per turn. You may take the top card of your life, add it to your hand. Then you give this character 2 Rested Dawn and plus 2,000 power. This makes him a 7,000 power swing, which hypothetically this could be a 7,000 power swing on your turn 3. Really great way to apply early pressure if you're going aggressive or if an opponent's trying to starve out your life, leaving you at a high life count to continue to pop your bodies with card effects. But overall, not a crazy card in this deck, and so 2 is a fine number in my opinion. We've got 4 copies of the OP01 Red Nami Searcher. There's not much to say about her, just looking for Straw Hat Crew type cards, and yeah, just an amazing card in this deck. Next up, we've got 4 of the OP02 Porcas Diaz, 7 cost, 7,000 power. Then he's got the on-play ability of give up to 2 of your opponent's characters minus 3,000 power during this turn. Then if your leader has the Whitebeard Pirates type, you get Rush. This is an amazing card to play on curve. If your opponent has multiple rested bodies, this is going to be an amazing tool to clear their board or just pressure them in general. I have the SP of this card in real life, and so I'm always looking for a reason to run him. Deck runs 3 silvers Rayleigh, the 8 cost 8,000 power beast from OP08. For his on play, you give one of your opponent's characters minus 3,000 power, another one minus 2,000 power until the start of their next turn. Then you KO one of their characters with a power of 3,000 or less. This isn't really super aggressive like the other cards in this list, but he's just an amazing card in general, so I definitely agree putting a couple copies in this list is the right move. Next up, 4 Ben Beckman, 7 cost, 7,000 power, 1k of counter from OP09. This on play, trash one of your opponent's characters with 6,000 power or less. You can combine the Otama with this card, which is very nice. He's just overall a great card to play on curve if your opponent just established a nice 6,000 power body. His on play of trashing gets around abilities like Lucky Roo, Jesus Burgess, etc. So he's a good card in this current meta, and I would definitely recommend him. I love this card in this deck. I would definitely consider bumping him down to 3 maybe, just so we can add a couple more cards that I'll talk about at the end of this list. This list runs 4 of the Tony Chopper blockers from OP10, 4 cost, 4,000 power, 2k counter. Then he's got the ability of during your opponent's turn, this character gains plus 2,000 power. You can play him out early game. For the most part, I'm playing him out late game just because early game I'm trying to apply a lot of pressure. And then of course he can just be used as a 2k counter if you're not going to play him out. 4 of the 5 cost 6,000 power starter deck 15 ace. This ace has 1,000 counter, which is very nice, and then he's similar to the 7 cost ace. On play, if your leader is the Whitebeard Pirates type, he gets rush, and then he also has the ability of once per turn, if he were to be removed from the board via effect, you can instead give him minus 2,000 power. So if your opponent wants to remove him via effects, they're going to have to do it twice in one turn. Or, of course, they use it once, then swing into him. But either way, what a great effect to have. I love having this card out early in the game, late in the game, it doesn't matter. It's a rush body with counter. Who doesn't love that? Next, we're running another 2-cost Sanji. This is the 2-cost 3,000 power 2k counter from starter deck 21. The main point of this Sanji is that on play, you get to choose up to one of your Straw Hat crew type characters with a power of 6,000 or more. That character is now unblockable. This is basically a Diable Jambe event card, but with counter, 2k counter to be exact, which is really strong. It's also searchable. I don't love how it only targets Straw Hat crew type cards, but this card definitely makes sense in this deck, and yeah, is a welcome addition. Starter deck 21, 5 cost, 6,000 power, Rush Luffy. I feel like this card is in almost all of the red decks I play just because it's so strong and I'm such a big fan. Card D Kazoku had the same idea, rush, and then when attacking you give one rested Don to either your leader or one of your characters. This is just a great aggressive card to play out on your 5 Don turn. Not much to say about that, just absolutely huge fan of this card, and 4 feels perfectly fine to me. Next up, we have the 4-cost 5,000 power Roronoa Zoro from starter deck 21 as well. He's got the ability of Don times 2, he gains rush. This is not an ability I'll take advantage of often, but could come in handy. What I really like about this card though is the fact that his on KO ability allows you to cheat out a 6,000 power body from your hand. Now this is an amazing ability, especially if you play him out early. If you see him on curve, you're basically guaranteeing he stays on the board at least one turn. There will definitely be times when your opponent will just ignore this card because they don't want to have to deal with the on KO effects, and for that reason I think he's great in this deck, especially early game. I think I already said that, but yeah, early game on 4 Don, I love this card. 1 Radical Beam the classic 1 cost 4,000 power counter event. Technically it's 2,000 power, but then if you're at 2 life or less, it gets another 2,000 power. It also has the trigger to give your leader or one of your characters plus 1,000 power for the rest of the turn. Next we have Flame Emperor, one of my favorite cards in the game. A 7-cost event is pretty wild, but once you read its effect, you'll understand why it's so expensive. Activate main if your leader is Pork SD Ace. KO up to one of your opponent's characters with a power of 8,000 or less. 8,000's huge. Then on top of that, your leader gets double attack and plus 3,000 power. Oh my god, ladies and gentlemen, this card is insane. Of course, it only works in this one deck because this is the only red ace leader. I'm sure there will be more in the future, but this card is just so strong. You'll see in the games, hopefully, depending on what games I include, that this is one of the great ways to put your opponent at lethal before they even realize it and making things really uncomfortable for them. They may be sitting perfectly fine with maybe a blocker on the field, 2 life, throw this card down, pop their blocker, swing double attack 8,000 at them, possibly more depending on how much Don up or event cards you want to trash from your hand. This can completely win you games, or at least put you at the point where you can win a game, forcing your opponent to really, hopefully, bounce back from that. But yeah, this card's amazing. If you see it at the right time, it can just simply win you the game. I love this out of 4 of. The next event cards in this deck are 3 copies of the OP03 Crossfire event. 2 cost, activate main or counter, which is very nice having both of those possibilities. If your leader has the Whitebeard Pirates type, give minus 4,000 power to one of your opponent's characters during this turn. And that is so versatile, and you can use it to help remove a body during your turn. You can use it to get out of an attack if it's on your opponent's turn. You can trash it to power up your leader. There's so many options with this card. I think this is a great 3 of in this deck, and if you ran it at 4, I wouldn't even call you crazy. Then last, but certainly not least, we have the 4-cost event from starter deck 21, Gum Gum Mulgun. Activate main, give one of your opponent's characters minus 5,000 power. Then, if you have a character with 6,000 power or more, KO up to one of your opponent's characters with a power of 2,000 or less. This is a great way to deal with big bodies that are really annoying. I'm looking at you, 8-cost Captain Kid. There are a lot of options with this card. It even has the trigger to activate its main effect, which if you get that off life and you have a 6,000 power character on the field, that game might just be over. That is such an insane trigger. It can really just win you the game there. I love this card in this deck, and I think 3 is a perfect number for it. Maybe we could go down to 2 and make room for some other cards, which I'll get into right now. Since Ace is kind of a generic leader, there are a lot of great options to potentially include in a deck list. These on screen are just some of the ones that I think would make a little bit of sense in an Ace deck list that I'll probably be trying out as well and coming back to you with my report. Out of the ones I'm highlighting here, some of the ones that make the most sense would be 8 cost Dragon, just because it enables such aggression, and 8 cost 9000 power rush, then also giving your leader or one of your characters +2 Don is really scary on curve. Then, of course, the Goldie Roger. There were a couple times where I'm like, man, I wish I had the Goldie Roger. I just throw him down and I win right here. And because of that, I'm considering just adding one to the deck just because it's such an instant win card. And I want the thrill of winning like that, you know? Of course, there is the 5 cost starter deck 1 Monkey D. Luffy. That's kind of like a mini Goldie Roger, so you can consider that as well. I think that makes a lot of sense because you could also use him early game. There's the OP10 Sanji. That's just a generically good card. 3 cost, 3000 power. Amazing if you're on the odd curve, and a great 3-Don play. And then, of course, Ace did get this new Yamato card that works in the deck, but I don't think it works like amazingly. Like, I think it's good, don't get me wrong, but I'm just not sure how crucial it is to the deck. But that's what testing's all about, so I'll get back to you with some thoughts and potentially an updated list. Again, this is Cardi Kaizoku's list that I'm just testing out for this video and found really fun, and so I wanted to share it all with you. Before we get into the gameplay, of course, I have a giveaway for you. If you're new to the channel, we do a giveaway in just about every video. Today, we're giving away a custom Porcus the Ace leader card using art from the One Piece Treasure Cruise game. Boom, editor, throw it up on screen. Look at that card, ain't it a beauty? Now, all you have to do to enter this giveaway is 1, leave a like, and 2, leave a comment. It's as simple as that. If this video gets 25 likes in the first 24 hours, I'll choose a random US-based commenter and send it to you for completely free. That's all you got to do. I am not claiming to be the artist. This art is coming from the One Piece Treasure Cruise game. I am not selling this. This is just a fun personal fan project. If you like the channel, consider hitting that subscribe button as well, because it helps the channel out so much and it means the world to me. Thank you. Alright, I'm getting cringe. Editor, roll the gameplay. Our first game of the day is going to be against a Black Purple Luffy, a leader from OP09 that hasn't really gotten a lot of love in the meta. That could be changing very soon though, because he is getting a new starter deck which should provide him some decent support, hopefully at least. We are going to be going second. That makes sense. I think their deck prefers going first. We are going to mulligan this first hand. Not a lot I like on the even curve there. We find the Roronoa Zoro, which I really like, especially in this matchup. Most Black Purple Luffys play the starter deck 14 5 cost pop Sanji, and this would be a good target for them to hit, if not for the fact that it has that effect where we get to cheat out a body on the KO. So we should be able to get a lot of value from that, not only playing him out, but when he dies, if they do decide to kill it, being able to cheat out another body. Nothing for us to do for 2 Don. We're going to pass it back to them. I'm expecting a 3 cost Zoro here, but I guess they don't have it. They're just going to swing 7,000 with their leader. I, of course, am going to take this. No reason to counter out of an early attack like this. And out of life, we do get another Tony Chopper blocker, the 4 cost on defense 6000 power blocker, a 2k counter too, which is very nice. We've got plenty of cards to play out, so I'm not sure if I'm really in a rush to play him out, but it is a good card to have, especially when we've got our bigger bodies for later on in the game, like the 7 cost Ace and the 8 cost Rayleigh. Passing it back to them, we put out that Zoro, so if they try to pop it anyway, we will be able to cheat out another body like the 5 cost Luffy or the 4 cost Chopper. They do have the 3 cost Zoro now. That lets them ramp a Don, doing their leader shenanigans where they're returning Don, re-ramping Don. You know the drill, folks. They've got another one too, which catches me off guard, establishing 2 bodies. Those will be annoying to deal with. They'll swing again for 7,000, and I will take that. Now we're down to 3 life, and I do have to be a little bit more careful. We are going to be in a decent spot this turn to put pressure on them though. 5,000 with our Zoro. They'll 1k counter out of that. Now I'm thinking here we do Monkey D. Luffy. Maybe I should have done the Mulgun too, giving a Don to Zoro, and then I could have used Mulgun to pop one of their Zoros. Let me know what you think about that play in the comments down below. I think what we did here though was best. They'll 2k counter out of that 6,000 power Luffy swing. Now I'll be able to swing 7,000 with our leader. There's no way they counter out of this, right? Maybe they do. They do not, though. They'll take that. And then, is there a trigger? A trigger could be a little bit awkward here. They'd be able to ramp it down, perhaps. Oh, they'll actually get the top knot trigger, which is the perfect card for them because it bottom decks our Zoro, thus not using his on KO ability. That was an amazing turn of luck for them. So good for them, but bad for us. We are still in a fine spot. We'd be in a much better spot if we still had that Zoro, of course. 6,000 into 6,000 on Monkey D. Luffy. I think we should keep this alive, and I'm thinking I'll trash the Tony Chopper 2K to keep it alive. Now they'll have two 5,000 power swings into our life. I'll take the first one, and this second one I'm heavily debating whether or not to take it or not. Going down to 1 against Black Purple Luffy is a little bit scary. They've got a wide board going on right now. I could just trash an event from my hand. Mulgun is a tempting one, but instead I will counter it with the Otama 2K. I think in hindsight maybe Mulgun would have been the move. Here I can use Flame Emperor, and Flame Emperor is going to accomplish basically the same thing as Mulgun by being able to help me pop their Sanji and Pudding. I'm leaning towards that. I could also go Rayleigh. I'm going to go with the Flame Emperor though. This card is so good. Hopefully we'll be able to put them at 1 life. Now I can swing 6,000 with Monkey D. Luffy. I actually think I should have swung into the Zoro with Monkey D. Luffy first, just to clear their board a little bit or try to get counter out of their hand. I am going to swing 9,000 by using Ace's leader ability to trash the Mulgun from our hand. 9,000 double attack. The first one hits, the second one hits. Now they're at 0. There's no way they won't be able to get out of a 7,000 power swing from our Monkey D. Luffy. So I am going to swing into the Zoro. I don't think it really matters though. Either way, they're definitely going to counter out of this. I'm just hoping that maybe they decide not to save a Zoro, and that's what happens. They are able to let it go. I feel like if I swung into life, I would have got counter cards, which is good, but I also needed to relieve some pressure because they are applying a lot of pressure, and I'm a little bit uncomfortable with that. Passing it back to them. Now they have 7 or 8 down to work with. They have the 7 cost Rush Sanji. Because they used so many cards that require Don minusing, they aren't at 9 and 10 Don, which prevents them from using some of their strongest cards in their deck, which is good news for us. 2 Don up now because of leader ability and that Sanji play. They're going to swing 6,000 into the Luffy. Can I keep this Luffy alive? It would take all the counter from my hand, but it might be worth it. I'm going to give them the Sanji 2K counter from starter deck 21, keeping that Luffy alive. I've got 2 more 2Ks in my hand and a Radical Beam, so I'll definitely be able to keep it alive this turn. The question is just, do I want to get rid of all the counter in my hand? 7,000 now with Sanji. That's another 2K from us. If they want to swing at it again with their leader, they'll have to use their only active Don, which means no Gum Gum Giant for me to use. They will not swing at it. They'll actually leave their leader standing. They probably should have just swung into my leader with their leader, but I don't think that is super important. In hindsight, I think this play was a little bit unnecessarily risky. Well, not risky, but just a little bit greedy. I'm going to start with a 13,000 power swing from our leader into their life. They have the Gum Gum Giant, and with Gum Gum Giant, they're definitely going to be able to find the cards they need. If they don't, they're just really bricked up, and I might get lucky. They do have the 2K Usohachi. They have another 2K Usohachi, and then they're going to have to give us one more card. They give us another 7 cost Sanji. Now we'll swing, I guess, 6,000 with Luffy. We can't use his ability just in the leader. I'm thinking maybe there I should have used the 7,000 power Ace just to clear their board a little bit. They're still low on Don, so they can't play out like a Time Walk Luffy or the 9 cost Luffy. If they have a couple of blockers in hand though and a Gum Gum Giant, we might be in trouble. They are going to have the Gum Gum Lightning, which KOs my Monkey D. Luffy. This is a little bit awkward. They've got 7 Don to work with now. They're going to start out with a 7,000 power swing from their Sanji. I am going to take this, just seeing what we can get. We get the Ben Beckman, which is a 1K counter, which is pretty nice. 7,000 now into our leader. Again, I am leaning towards countering out of this, and I'll do the Ben Beckman and the Tony Chopper for a 2K, 1K. 5 Don left for them to work with. They might throw it all on leader or split it between their leader and Trafalgar Law. If they don't have a blocker here, I think this game is over. Maybe they could have double Gum Gum Giants though. That would be absolutely absurd. And knowing purple Luffy leaders, not out of the question. 5,000 now with their Trafalgar Law. I'm thinking maybe I just take this and force them to swing big with their leader using their Don, and then hopefully winning next turn. 5,000, we will take that. We get the 1 cost Nami Searcher, which maybe we could use next turn if we really need it, but I don't think we will. And then they decide not to swing with their leader. I wonder if they were just trying to starve me a little bit and not allow me to get another potential rusher into my hand. Regardless though, I think the move here is just to swing really big. I do consider splitting my Don between my leader and a Rush 5 cost Ace. In my head, I was wondering if that makes any sense at all, but I don't think it really does. I think either way, swinging for really big with my leader is the move here, and so that's what we're going to do. 16,000 now with our leader ability, trashing a Radical Beam from our hand. It was a good thing we didn't use it last turn, and we wouldn't have needed to use it if they swung 5,000 with their leader, because we could have trashed the 1 cost Nami. They are going to have the Gum Gum Giant. Do they have another one? If they they don't, this game is absolutely over, folks, and they do not. GG's. That was a close one. I got a little bit too comfortable there at the end. I could have played that a little bit differently. I think the one turn where maybe I should have played the 7-cost ace would have been the better move. Now on to our next game. We continue with the off-meta leaders. This time a green-yellow law from OP10. Not a leader you really see often. It's a really tough deck to pilot. We'll see how this game goes though. I think our aggression will be really strong into it just because they're a 4-life leader that takes their own life sometimes by playing out bodies. And because of that, I think we've got a good shot at winning this game. They're going to start out on the even curve and play out the 1-cost Luffy searcher. They find the OP10 jewelry Bonnie. Not really too scared of that. 3 Don for me to work with here. I think it's definitely going to be a Nami search play. Off of the Nami search, we can only take a 4-cost Zoro, so that answers that. Not much of a choice there. We'll swing 7,000 with our leader. They will take that, and we'll pass it back to them. Next turn, we'll be at 5 Don. It's probably going to be a starter deck 21 Rush Luffy, but also it could be a Zoro play. You never know. 4 Don for them to work with. We'll probably see the Jewelry Bonnie blocker here. We will see the Rush Zoro, actually. 5,000 with the Rush Zoro first. I think we're just going to take this hit and then take the hit that they inevitably swing with their leader. 6,000 at us. We will definitely take that. We get the Ben Beckman, which could be really helpful in this matchup. Hitting a 6,000 power body means Cavendish is in range. Cavendish, the 5-cost from EB01, just such a strong card in basically any deck it's played. 6,000 now with the Rush Monkey D. Luffy into their Zoro. I could see them countering out of these attacks. They've got a decent amount of cards in hand. Doesn't really matter to me though. They do let it go. Now 6,000 into their leader with my leader. They'll 2k counter out of that, and I am good to pass it back to them. They'll be at 6 Don. We could see that EB01 Cavendish. We could see a Trafalgar Law blocker. I believe that's from OP01. There's a couple different options they have. I'm not really too worried right now. I think we're in a pretty good spot. We have a ton of rush cards. We've got that Gum Gum Mulgun. That will be really strong. We've got the 7-cost ace. I really like where we're at, folks. Plenty of counter in hand. What more do you want me to say? We do see that 5-cost Cavendish. They get to restand 2 Don. They'll give a Don to their leader. I wonder if they'll use leader ability here. They will. They'll send their Luffy searcher back to their hand and then play out another Cavendish. Now this is a little bit sketchy actually, because I'm not going to swing into the Cavendishes, and with 2 Cavendishes on the field, they're not able to activate Cavendish's ability. So I mean, I don't think they knew what was at the top of their life. This was kind of just a risky play for them. I don't love that play for them, though. I'm not going to KO either of those Cavendishes just because I don't want them to get the ability off. We're going to play down the 7-cost Rush Ace, swing 6,000 with the Luffy, give a Don to our leader, swing 6,000 now with Ace. They counter out of the first one. They counter out of the second one. They had 2 Dracula Mihawks, now 7,000 with Ace. They take that. They're down to 1 life. I really like where we're at, folks. How many times do I have to say it? We could see the 7-cost Law here, the secret rare. That would be a really good play for them. And yep, there we go. 7-cost, 9,000 power Law, putting a supernova to the top of their life. They added the OP01 blocker Law to the top. Now they'll use leader ability. I don't know if this is going to be enough, folks. It might be too little too late. They're going to send back a couple cards from their hand. One of the Cavendishes. They'll play out the 1-cost Monkey D. Luffy searcher, probably looking for a 2k. They do find the blocker Jewelry Bonnie. Or not the blocker Jewelry Bonnie, that is the stun Jewelry Bonnie. 6,000 now with one of their Cavendishes. Because they took the other one back, they do get to activate his effect. 6,000 into 6,000. I probably should counter out of this. I see no reason not to. Just another swing for next turn. Unless I'm a little bit scared, then maybe I hesitate, but I think I'm okay to trash some cards from my hand as counter. I'll get rid of the Ben Beckman, which does feel a little bit bad because I love Ben Beckman. Mulgun will do the same purpose though, so I think I'm okay to get rid of Ben Beckman. 7,000 with their leader into our Monkey D. Luffy. Again, I think this makes sense to counter. I was thinking about giving them the Otama, but I decided the Sanji might be the better one to get rid of. I don't know how much that really matters in the scheme of things. I'm thinking here we Mulgun the Trafalgar Law blocker, then just swing big into their life with all of our different characters. We can also go wide and play down the 5-cost Rush Luffy in our hand as well. Off another Luffy search, they do draw the 2k counter X-Drake, which is solid. We top deck the Rayleigh, which also could be interesting here, folks. We've got a lot of different options. I'm wondering if I should go Rayleigh this turn instead, popping the Trafalgar Law blocker, and then maybe getting rid of the Cavendish. I should probably get rid of the Cavendish at this point. We do feel relatively healthy because we have 3 life. but it's not like a ton of cards in hand. We will go with the Mulgun though. I think that is the move, just pressuring their life here. Again, maybe in hindsight I should have went Rayleigh, popped the Law, minus the power of the Cavendish, but it is what it is. 6,000 they will 2k counter out of. Now I'm debating on exactly what the rest of my turn should be. I decided to play out the other Rush Luffy to pressure life again and then give another rested Don to our leader. 6,000 into 5,000. I imagine they'll want to counter out of this if they can. Then I'm going to have two 7,000 power swings coming at them. They get the Basil Hawkins trigger, which allows them to draw 2, trash 1. Now 7,000 at their life. This is probably greedy because with all those cards in hand, they probably have the counter, but you never know. I don't think I'm too worried about dying this turn, but some green-yellow laws do run the starter deck 2 law, which is a 5 cost that restands one of their characters, and that could be very dangerous combined with a Cavendish, folks. That is very dangerous. So right now I'm a little bit questioning that last play. They've got 10 down to work with. They're going to start out with a 3-cost Rush Zoro. This is what I'm talking about, folks. Playing a little risky can bite you in the butt. I am debating countering out of this, and I will, just because I'm nervous that they're going to spread their Don and swing for bigger amounts, which I should counter out of the ones I can counter out of. 6 Don for them still to work with. They're going to throw 2 Don on their leader, then swing 7,000 into one of our rested Monkey D. Luffy's. I can counter out of this. I'm not sure if it really makes sense to. 4 Don left up. I'm not exactly sure what they could play for 4 Don. I will let the Luffy go just because I want to keep that counter in my hand. Maybe protect the ace or my other Luffy, depending on how they divvy their Don. 8,000 into the 7,000 power ace. If I do counter out of this, they will just clear it with the Trafalgar Law 7-drop. And so I'm like, ooh, I don't know if it's really worth it. I should probably keep the counter in my hand. If I let all my characters go this turn, though, and they play a blocker, I might be in a really bad spot. I do have the Rayleigh, which could pop a blocker, and I guess they'd be left with not a lot of cards in hand. But what if they have 2 blockers? What if they run some double Shirahoshi Spice? That would be terrible for us. 8,000 into 7,000. I'll let that go. Now a big swing from their 7-cost Law into our 5-cost Monkey D. Luffy. I've got to let that go as well. This is a little bit nerve-wracking, folks. They do have that 3-cost Jewelry Bonnie blocker, which would be a problem. Except I have Silver's Rayleigh, which will be able to pop it. I also have that 2-cost Sanji, which I could power up my Nami, then play that down and still win that way. Divine Luck was in our favor, and we get the dub. GG's. Now a game against Purple Luffy. I am a little bit intrigued about this matchup. Do not get it twisted. Purple Luffy is still a very strong deck in this format, despite the rise of the popularity of Green Purple Luffy. I just posted a video on Purple Luffy in the EB02 format that you definitely need to check out. With 2 done to work with, I heavily debate whether to play Nami or the 2-cost Sanji. I decided to go with the Nami. I find the Gum Gum Mogum, which is a pretty good find. I definitely see an argument though to play out the 2-cost Sanji because I'd be able to apply a lot of pressure this next turn. Passing it back to them, we'll likely see them use leader ability. They will 4 down. They'll play down the Zoro Juro. Off the Zoro Juro, they do find starter deck 18 Sangoro. You love to see it, or I guess you hate to see it. 5,000 now at our leader. I will happily take that. We get the Otama, a nice 2k to have, and then they'll pass it back to us. 4 down for us to work with. Nothing too crazy for us to do. I'll probably just play out that 4-cost Tony Chopper. Swinging 5,000 now with leader feels a little bit bad just because I feel like they're definitely going to counter out of it. And the Tony Chopper doesn't really apply a lot of pressure. I would much rather play this out later on in the game. I don't really have any other good 4 down options though. We'll take the free swing with the Chopper off their leader swing, which is great. We'll take the 6,000 Zoro Joro swing, and then they'll play down the Luffy Taro into Sangoro combo, and things are looking a little bit sketchy for us, folks. It's going to be a Rush Luffy play here, even though I don't love this play. I'll start out with a 6,000 power swing into Zoro Joro. Maybe I should just have pressured life here and just really tried to aggro them down. They'll counter out of the first swing, and now 7,000 with our leader. They'll 2k counter out of that. At least we're getting cards out of their hand, and I'll pass it back to them. They've got the absolute perfect board state right now. 6,000 into our rested Luffy. I'm going to let them have that. 6,000 with Sangoro now. We do get the trigger Crossfire, which is really nice. We'll do minus 4,000 to the Luffy Taro. Now 6,000 with their Zoro Joro. We can 2k counter out of this. I haven't blocked with my Tony Chopper yet. Maybe I should be doing that this turn. They've got another Luffy Taro into Sangoro combo, and yeah, Place your bets on whether or not I win this game, folks. It is not looking good. We do have the Rayleigh on 8 Don, which you love to see, but is it going to be enough, really? Our board states are just, yeah, incomparable. 5,000 now with our leader. We popped their Sangoro and gave minus 2,000 to a Luffy Taro. They've still got a menacing board. Instead of playing another big body like I expected, they're actually going to push for lethal here, playing down the Uso Hachi to rest my chopper. Now they're going to swing 7,000 with their leader into our life. I think we need to counter out of this. I didn't though, and in hindsight that's probably a mistake. I don't really think there's much we're going to be able to do. I think regardless we're in a rough position. 7,000 now with their Zorodora. We will be countering out of these swings. 3 Don left up. They'll give it Don to their minus Luffy Taro. 7,000 at us now. Again, a 1k, a 2k. These 2ks are going by quickly. I'm not really sure it matters which ones we give up, just because I think we're just going to lose this game. 7,000 with Sangoro. They got to draw a card. They'll leave 1 Don up, presumably for Gum Gum Giant, unless they want to give 9,000 Luffy Taro swing, which wouldn't be a bad idea, but they can really just play it safe. If they did do 9,000, we would have been able to get out of that between the 2ks and using leader ability to trash Gum Gum Mogun. Doesn't matter though, folks. We are going to... There's nothing we can do. We do the Mogun, pop the Sangoro, but this is kind of where we accept our fate. We could do another Mogun, minusing the Luffy Taro, and then we can't pop anything, but it's hopeless, folks. I think here I just tell them, good game. I don't want to waste their time and play out another turn when we all know that it's over for me. I concede. They did have a Gum Gum Giant, so I wouldn't have been able to even get another attack if they so pleased. GG's, on to the next one. Now we've got a game against Blackbeard. I actually think we're in a good position to win this one. We've got a lot of rush characters, and yeah, I'm just feeling good. I've got a good feeling about this one. We are going to be on the odd curve. I'm debating on whether or not to keep this hand just because we don't have a lot of rush cards, but that 5-cost Ace could be really strong, and that 7-cost Flame Emperor could also be really strong. And because I have those 2 cards, I will keep it. I think there's an argument to be made to maybe mulligan, looking for that 4-cost Zoro or Monkey D. Luffy rushers. Yeah, but I'm okay with this. Instead of playing down the Sanji because I'm nervous it's going to get popped, I'm just going to swing really big with our leader, 8,000 into them. They will take that, of course, and then I'll pass it back to them. They will start their turn with a leader swing of their own, 5,000 at us, and we will definitely take this. Looking for some more rush cards. Next turn, we'll probably play down the 5-cost Ace. Off the board ASAP. I'm going to start my turn with a 5,000 power leader swing, which they will 1k counter out of. Then 6,000 swing into their life. They will take that. Is there going to be a trigger? They're taking a minute to pass it back to me. There will not, or at least they won't activate it. And I'll pass it back to them for their 6th Don turn. They're going to use the finger gun to KO the Ace. I will be able to use his ability here to keep him alive. I can give him minus 2,000 to keep him alive. Now the question is, will I keep him alive when they swing into him? 5,000 with their leader. I'll 2k counter out of that. I'm fine with that. Now are they going to swing 5,000 with Laboon? They are actually going to rest Laboon and then pop Ace with the Doc Q. I'm a little bit silly there. I fell for that trap. I should have let Ace go from the leader swing, or maybe not. I do have some other rush cards in my hand. I've got the Flame Emperor, which could be really good right now. I could use that to pop the Vasco shot, swing double attack into their life, and then the Laboon staying on the board doesn't really make much of a difference because I don't have any other characters on the board for them to pop with the Laboon. If they want to swing 5,000 with Laboon, go for it. They are going to take the hit. They get This Is My Age trigger off the first life, and they draw the Kuzan. The question is, are we going to be able to aggro them down before they start dropping back-to-back teaches? We'll see. 8 Don for them to work with. They'll start with a Lafitte search. We'll see what they find. Off Lafitte, they will find the stage, which is ideally something that you find. Then they're going to use a This Is My Age to draw a Marshall D. Teach 10 drop. They've got another This Is My Age, I think. Wow, they are really playing out a lot of searchers here, just getting ready for the upcoming turns. They'll play out the stage, do a stage search and a cycle. They'll draw a Doc Q. They're going to be able to pop potentially whatever bodies I play out next turn. 3 Don for them still to work with. They're going to give 1 Don to the Laboon, swing 6,000 at us. I think I should consider countering out of this just because now they're probably going to swing 7,000 with their leader, or they could be playing out a Vasco shot. If they're playing out a Vasco shot, they'll only swing for 5,000, and then that will be a fine 1k counter out of. No, they're going to swing for 7. I'm going to be crazy and take that as well. We get a Mulgun trigger, but I forget it only does the KO part if you have a body of 6,000 power or more on the field. That was a squandered opportunity for me. I'm definitely feeling like a little bit of a ding-dong. I am just going to push for game here. Even if I don't succeed, I'll get a lot of cards from hand and hopefully get them to 0 life, starting out with this 7,000 power power swing from our leader, they will be able to counter out of that. Now I'm going to do a rush pork as the ace swing. While I would like to leave Don up for the crossfire event, I decide I'd rather just go swing big. I remembered they did have the 10 cost teach in their hand, but I wasn't sure if maybe they cycled it and I missed it, so I really would have been fine swinging for 7,000. They are going to play the teach here, freeze my ace. They're going to use Laboon and Doc Q to pop the ace, and then they'll probably swing 5,000 with their leader, unless they want to starve me a bit and don't want to risk giving me a rush card. I wouldn't be surprised if they do that. No, they'll swing into me, and I'm thinking here I should give them a 1k counter. They'll probably use Black Hole to prevent any on-play effects. I'm really considering adding Goldie Roger to this deck because that would certainly come in handy in this situation. I don't have a rush card and that feels kind of bad. They didn't turn off my on-play effects, so hypothetically I could play a Rayleigh here and get a lot of value, popping the Laboon and minusing the power of the teach. But I think I should just throw this all on ace and just swing really big. They either have to give me the teach blocker or they just lose. Now the thing is, I do not expect them to have all 2Ks in their hand. Right now, Teach is an 8,000 power character. I'm about to swing 13,000. They would need all 2Ks if they want to block and counter out of this, right? There's no way they have all 2Ks. Someone please. No, they're going to block. Are they going to counter though? Moment of truth, ladies and gentlemen. There's no way. Oh my god. 1 2K, 2 2Ks, 3 2Ks. That was absurd. I would never have expected them to have all 2Ks. Now they have 10 Don, 1 card in hand. If they had a second Teach, I think they'd be in a really good spot. They might even win if they have a second Teach. They're going to swing 9,000 at us and we will take that, trying to bait them to go for game here. I could counter out of this 10,000 swing from Laboon, but I want them to swing with the Teach just so that I can go for game next turn. Now I did this by doing a miscalculation of just how much counter I had in hand. I can get out of this attack, but I can't get out of a 13,000 power swing on what I have in my hand currently. I'll need to get something out of life. So I'm gonna take this hit on the wrong information off my miscalculation that I would be able to counter out of the Teach swing, which is what I'm trying to get them to do, is swing with their Teach. We get the Flame Emperor out of life, and this saves the day for us if they decide to go for game, which they will. 13,000, and we can get out of this perfectly. We survive by just barely, folks. I can't believe it. I almost did a miscalculation and had us lose the game, but alas, divine luck was in our favor. That's game. GG's. Ladies and gentlemen, what did you think about those games? I've been having a ton of fun with this leader. I don't think you're gonna maybe win a tournament with him, but maybe locals, you know? I don't know. I don't think he's like amazing, but he definitely is such a fun, aggressive deck to play. If you like red decks, if you like aggressive decks, this is gonna be the deck for you. Definitely a fun time. If you like the channel, consider hitting that subscribe button. If you want to win the custom leader, don't forget to hit like and comment. If you are not subscribed yet, but you made it this far, what are you waiting for? Let me know in the comments what other leaders you want me to play. Let me know if you saw any big mistakes in my gameplay or any deck list suggestions. I would love to hear your feedback. With that being said, have an amazing rest of your night. This has been Johnny TCG. Peace.